Hey everyone, Coach Jenna here. Today is the first week of my Diamond Week, and I remember when I became a coach on Epic Dream Team, I thought like, oh my gosh, like I'm never gonna be one of those people. So just to throw that out there right away. Um, but today is day one of Diamond Week, and it's my story and why I became a coach. So I'm gonna kind of go back into high school actually. My story is kind of deep, kind of not. I'll try to keep it as short as possible. But even back in high school, I was always an active individual. I've always loved fitness. I've, never really paid attention to what I've eaten until, the recent years. But I was a three-sport athlete in high school and college. I played intramurals. I coached intramurals. So I was always, doing something fitness related. But when I got to college and, at that point in your life, you're 18, 19, 20 years old, and you're really figuring out or trying to figure out who you are. And I like lost myself. Like I thought I knew who I was, and it was just a very, very tough time in college. And I thought I lost myself. I was I was 3.5 hours away from home, from my hometown, and I was in a very demanding major in the medical field. And it was just I was full of stress all the time, balancing my social life and knowing college that led to a lot of drinking. So trying to balance my social life and a hard major to be in, I it was just very hard to balance life. And I knew like something just wasn't right. I remember filling that void and finding my passion and my love for the gym. I got a Snap gym membership, and the gym would be my stress relief from school, and it would be the relief for my anxiety, and it was just my me time. I filled that void with the gym. I would spend hours in the day not even lifting. I was the cardio junkie on the treadmill, on the elliptical, studying. I know I was one of those people. But I created an obsession with that, of needing that every single day. And that was, it became unbearable. And that time that I spent in the gym um, increased over time. Like I would be there for 3 hours a day sometimes, and it was my only true passion at the time, and it was my way to escape, the pressures of school and my anxiety from being away from home, and that actually led to people starting to talk about my weight. Um, like I said, I spent hours upon hours at the gym all the time and not doing it correctly. I know I wasn't eating right because I'm the type of person after I work out, I don't eat. So I had need to, force myself to eat after I work out. So I know I didn't have the proper nutrition with, having those massive cardio sessions every day. But at the time, I thought everything was fine. And I'm the type of person where I just talk it over in my head and, that's that. Everything's good, nothing to worry about. So I also don't really express my feelings all that easily. And I remember one day, it was, I don't remember how old I was, 21, 22 years old. And I got on the scale and I weighed 105 pounds. And I was I was 5'7". I am 5'7", and like to think of a 5'7" girl weighing 105 pounds. I looked at myself in the mirror. We had a full length mirror, and I was just like, oh my gosh, like what are you, nuts? And also around that time, I remember my dad sitting me down on the couch, asking me if everything was okay. My dad and I have such a close relationship, and like for him to ask me that question, like if I needed to talk about anything or if everything was okay, like it hit me so hard. And it was almost like a pile of bricks, just fell on me. And it was also that light switch, that light switch kind of flipped. And I knew I needed to make changes in my lifestyle. I was still in college at this point in time. So I needed to turn my focus onto school and graduation and passing my board exam. Again, I was in a very demanding major, so that stress on top of everything else, I just needed to focus my time on school. And I actually did just that. I passed my board exam, all that good stuff. And I never lost my passion for the gym or fitness, but I did realize that there, was more to it than me. I was still being unhealthy, thinking that I was being healthy. So I really taught myself over the years, that I could go to the gym and I don't need to be there for hours upon end. And, I should incorporate weightlifting into my regimen. So, fast forward to a few years ago after I passed my board exam, and I started a job. I accepted a position the night before my board exam. So, kind of put that into perspective, I was a wreck. But I passed my exam. I moved away. I lived in Madison, Wisconsin at the time. So here I was, freshly graduated, passed my board exam. I had to start a career in a month, and I had no idea where I was living. I would never have been to the town where I accepted my job. So I had to make some moves, and I ended up signing for an apartment the same day I started my job. It was probably one of the most crazy feelings ever. Like it was such a whirlwind, and I was just so excited. I remember that first week in my apartment, I had no furniture and no lights and no company. I was alone. I knew no one in this town, but I was so happy. Like I remember that feeling of just being so happy and content and starting this next chapter in my life, to live alone and start my life, and to be able to make some money, to be honest. But little did I know, flash forward just a couple short weeks later, that I would meet Jameson, and we've been together ever since. But so fast forward to 5 months ago, or 6 months ago, actually 6 months ago, as of the 18th. So I've been a coach for 6 months. I currently live in the same city and have the same job, and I'm still with Jameson, and we have our little puppy Bill, and we're so happy. Like I thought that I found it, in life. I had a career, I had a boy. We didn't own yet; we're still renting, but I thought I had it. I was just at a really amazing point in my life, but I just working day after day and going through the same schedule every single day of wake up, or just being in just a bad lifestyle of drinking every weekend, or just kind of settling for this is life. So Beachbody was actually an absolute blessing in disguise. So I reached that point in my life where I was happy, but Jameson and I, wanted to plan our lives together. We had plans to travel and to get married, and we want to build our dream home. We have all these plans, but how are we supposed to do this? Settling, going, waking up at the same time, going to bed at the same time, living paycheck to paycheck. Like there was no way. Like we've talked over and over, like how are we supposed to pay for anything in life? Like it's crazy to think that, thinking back, like how people just settle, and how they just think like this is the way it has to be, and it doesn't. So I brought up to Jameson that I was following someone through Facebook, and I loved her inspiration and her motivation and what she portrayed through social media. And I was so leery. Like I followed Christy, oh my gosh, maybe for a year before I ever even contacted her or she contacted me. I may have filled out a random application and never responded, to be honest, but I was just so leery because it was off of social media and I had no idea, what this was all about. So I was just following her story for too long. I think I filled out that application. And I remember even messaging her once, and she got back to me and I never responded. So it took all of me to finally bring it up to Jameson that I was looking or thinking to pursue a second career. I kept it to myself for over a year. I'd contemplate well, what is Beachbody? Should I do it? Should I not? Should I just try a workout? So I just contemplated it for too long, and long story not so short, I dove right in. I've never looked back. Christy, asked me, our first call, I don't even remember if it was a coaching call or a customer call, But she's like, why don't you just dive right in? And I'm like, yeah, why not? Like it was such a blessing in disguise. And I was scared. I knew that I wanted to pursue this career, but I was scared and didn't think that it could have come out to anything. And I was scared that I didn't want to leave that comfort of having, my full-time career, which I still do. I still work full-time as a radiation therapist, and obviously, as we all know, with everyone with full-time jobs, it's tough, but we all believe in this and we believe in what we're doing, and I just see it so much in our future, in my future and in our future together, that I've just never looked back after I started coaching. I told myself, I was just like, this is it. Like, this could be something. And I don't want to be, without even reading personal development books, I said, I don't want to be the average person that just settles. I want to be able to, live my life how I want to live it. And even though I love what I do as a therapist, I knew that I wouldn't be able to do that. And just being able to help others on a different level than treating their cancer is the absolute most amazing feeling in the absolute world. Coaching has changed my life, and like I said, I've just been a coach for about 6 months, and my why has already changed. Like, I caught myself in words. Initially, it was just like a supplemental income, and now all I want to do is get on my computer and talk to people. Like, all I want to do is get my workout in, get my personal development, talk to people, help people, and just make them feel and know that they're worth it. And it's a whole whirlwind, and it's absolutely changed my life. So like I said, we have plans, we don't want to settle. We're so happy where we're at, and I just know that the future holds so many amazing journeys in our life and together. And that's my story. That's my rant. I'll stop right now. But thank you guys so much for listening to my story and to my why. And I hope I didn't ramble too much, but have a great night, guys.